The Vietnam War, it's over. Your job's just begun.
A new HBO original limited series.
Welcome to the world of spycraft. Strap in.
From executive producers Park Chan-wook and Robert Downey Jr.
What are you concealing?
Based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Viet Thanh Nguyen.
What if I told you that I was a communist spy?
How did you become this?
The Sympathizer, streaming April 14th on Max. Subscription required.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. Then today's episode. So, this episode may just seem like that it's a random episode, and it's, you know, it's just something where it's all like, where is this all coming from, TMossBoss? Like, what is bothering you? And the thing that I will have to say that's bothering me is that I don't like seeing people that I care about hurt. You know, it's like when you see somebody going through some stuff and it's like, dang, it very well could have been prevented. Yeah, it bothers me because I'm like, I got to see that, you know, and that's something that I don't like is seeing people that I care about, friends, family, it don't matter. I don't like seeing people that I care about hurt, you know, so that's one thing about it is that I always try to make sure, like, I check up on people, I see how people are doing, all that stuff. And yeah, you know, it's like for the most part, I have to say that that's my life. That's where I'm at right now. But I feel like with this particular situation, it hits home for me because I've been in situations like this before where you have somebody playing games with you. You have somebody that's not really being all that clear with you and stuff. And that's something where it's like, I pay attention to that. Like, I'll have to say, like, people in a way, I know this may come off as kind of silly, but I'm like, I mean, I feel like, you know, that's how AI technology is designed, is that you learn from stuff. And I've learned from situations where I'm like, okay, if this person is being weird, if they're being shady, I want no parts of them. You know, it's like, I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm not going to focus on them. I'm not going to be bothered with them whatsoever. I'm not going to, because I feel like that's something that's like a trend now where people want to make like sad posts on social media and then you message them and be like, hey, what's going on? And then they're all like, oh, I'm fine. It was just nothing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm concerned. So I'm like, if something's going on, people, I cannot stress this enough. Talk about your problems. You are not a burden. You're not causing the inconvenience. You're not. My thing is this. I reached out to you. It's not like you done reached out to me. My thing is this. If I reach out to you because I am a concerned friend or family, my thing is this. Talk to me. I'm not reaching out for just any old reason. You know, so it's like, I just wanted to, that's not what this episode's going to be about. It's completely different, but I feel like that needs to be said. Like, I'm just, you know, I'm talking on all scenarios and options and everything in the middle, you know, but I just feel like that's needed to know, because I'm, you know, a lot of people be thinking that like you're causing the inconvenience in my life if you're telling me your problems, and I'm like, fam, I reached out to you. It wasn't like you reached out, and even if you did reach out to me, I'm still not gonna look you in your face or be through messages talking about, oh, I don't like hearing other people's problems. I'm like, fam, I welcome that stuff. My DM, but just for anybody that I know that listens to my podcast, understand this. My DMs, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, the YouTube don't have no mess. I think they did at one point in time. But Twitter, any place where you can reach out to me, reach out to me. My DMs are open 24/7. If you cannot get access to me through DMs, come to one of my streams. I do not care. I will pause a game and make sure of it that you are okay before I do anything else in the game, all right? Where YouTube comments, I don't care where it is that you reach out to me. Reach out to me, all right? So I felt like that needed to be said, talking on people and problems and all that stuff, because I feel that at times people don't want to talk about their problems, and I'm like, bro, it helps, all right? But now let's just get straight into what I really wanted to talk on. And yeah, it's overall playing games with people, because I feel like that's something that's done a lot lately, where let's say there's a party and then there's another party, talking on just two people and stuff, right? And I don't know why I worded off as party, but anyways, there's one person, then there's another person. One person becomes attracted to another person, and then that person's not really being all that clear. So it might be some situation where it's like this person is chasing, and I mean chasing after, and it's something where I'm like, if you gotta word it in a way where it hurts somebody, then it's like, fam, do that. But it's like, don't lead a person onto a chase. Or if you're trying to like weigh out your options, because like I could speak for myself on situations like this where I'm like, I've chased after women, and yeah, it didn't work out for me in the long run. It ended up just being a situation where I got hurt, and then I'm sitting there, kind of like, dang, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Like, what could I have done differently? And it's like, it don't matter how I approach the situation. I'm like, that's just something that sits in the back of my mind, where it's like, something's wrong with me and I don't know what it is, so I'm like, I really don't even, I think the only time I'll be able to shake that is when one day, me shooting my shot, and then I actually, what's going on with the program down? There's like this program that I'm using. It's like, it's being weird. I don't know what it's like. It forgot to, I don't even think it forgot. I think it just straight up didn't even save a podcast episode one day. And I'm like, this program that I'm using, Audacity, whatever it wants to be called, I'm like, it's being weird right now. So I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I'm like, hey, bro, stop all that while I'm doing this podcast episode, because I'm like, bro, this is a serious episode. I am trying to get a point across, all right? So I'm not trying to do 100 million takes, because I got like pretty much 30 minutes to record this episode, get it out, and videos and all that other stuff. So I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to chill tonight, all right? But anyways, but yeah, so like, let's say there's a party and or a person, and they like another person, but that person wants to play games with them, and they don't really know what's going on. And I'm like, that's something that just recently I done dealt with it with somebody that I care about, and I know the other visual involved too, because they're another person that I care about. Yeah, let's just say that, I'm close with these two people. And it's just really disappointing with the one person, because I'm like, you very well could have been honest, and that's something where I'm like, I cannot, I feel like that's another thing that I can't stress enough, where it's like, people, be honest. There's nothing wrong with being honest. That's something where I'm like, if people want it honest, because I just recently had it where a friend had contacted me, and they was all like, they wanted me to be honest with them. And they was all like, do you think I'm doing good in life? And I was all like, you want me to be flat out honest with you? You're doing better than me. Okay, so that's just something that you need to understand. If you think that I'm talking about me is doing better than you, no, there's no possible way. There's no possible way. Maybe with some situations, but not all situations. Like if you're talking financially, I have a strange feeling you're doing better than me financially. When it comes to just overall social life, you're doing better than me in that. I'm like, fam, I feel like I'm just now really, not even really fully, or not so much as like not understanding, but it's like getting a better feeling of a social life. Like when I go out and about, like I can talk with people. Back then, I'm like, I don't talk with nobody. I just go, like if I'm at a place, like let's say if I'm at like Foot Locker or Champs and one of the employees just strike up a conversation with me, I'm like, I can carry on the conversation. I feel like a while ago, like, no, that wouldn't have been the case. Like probably before working in Seattle, I really do feel like getting a job in Seattle, and I'm not saying that you gotta like go to the city in order to like, bring up your social skills. But overall, it's like, it ain't even about that. Like, but overall, though, it's like getting back to this honesty thing, because I feel like I'm kind of getting distracted in the conversation and stuff. But no, there's nothing wrong with being honest. Now, if there was a situation wrong with this person, I definitely would have told them that, because I feel like this is a friend that I can, be like, hey, I could be honest with you. And the thing is this, if I hurt your feelings, it is out of love. I'm not going to say something disrespectful that it's like, oh, it's like I got to apologize for that stuff later on. But it's like, I'm going to say something that I personally think that you need to hear. All right. So whatever the situation is, I'm like, hey, fam, I'm gonna be honest about that. And that's something where I'm like, with me, I try my, like, it's not too many times when people, they come up to me and they ask me some stuff like that. They want me to be honest with them. So, like, if there is ever a time, I guess, like, any of my friends, family, whoever is listening to this podcast episode, if there's ever a time where you are like, hey, be honest with me, and you tell me your life story, and you're all like, does that sound like a good life? Or you tell me your situation, you are like, does this sound like a good or a bad situation? My thing is this, whether I've known you within this year, since last year, the year before, my whole life, or even a few seconds, I'm like, look, that's one thing about it, is that I am going to be honest. So that's something where I feel like that point needs to be. And what's crazy is that I feel that if it had been me in this situation where I'm not being honest with somebody else, I feel like the one that isn't being honest in this situation, that not that I'm really, well, I am talking about it, but I'm just kind of more so using it as an example. But I'm like, just with this whole like not playing games with people podcast episode, I don't know. I feel like maybe some people might have lost track because I'm just kind of bouncing all over the place in this podcast episode. But I just feel that the person that's not being honest would have definitely looked at me in a situation where I wasn't being honest and would have gotten on me for not being honest. And I'm like, fam, that's very hypocritical of you because you're not an honest person. I'm gonna just say this. A lot of the times, we're not gonna be honest. All right. Like, the funny thing is, like, I just went on this whole, like, rant about being honest. But at the same time, yes, we are going to have our moments where we are not honest. But that's something that I'm trying to be more of, is honest. And I'm like, and so, yeah, I'm not going to hold it against people about not being honest. But at the same time, practice that stuff. Like, just with small situations all the way to big situations, be honest. So it's like a person, because my thing is this, if other people are going to be involved in a long-term situation, you have to be honest with them. To me, it just don't make no sense where it's like so much can be given to an individual, whatever the situation is, but it's like honestly can't be given to that person. And so, yeah, I'm like, with the individual not being honest, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed with them, because I'm like, fam, you're better than this. I know that you're better than this, and it's like, and I'm saying, it's like, you're an adult. It ain't like, this ain't some like kid stuff, if we in high school, middle school, elementary, whatever, it's like, nah, fam, you're an adult. So it's like, that's something where I'm like, I feel that if you would have given me that advice on being honest, I'm like, fam, but I think that is just a thing with people where it's all like, you look for that advice, but then it's like you don't even realize that at some point in time you give out the advice that you want to hear, and then you sit down and you start thinking about it. So I don't know, maybe I gotta do some stuff where I'm not being honest with that individual, and then they call me out, and then I could be like, well, excuse me. It's all like, yeah, I'm like, bruh, follow your own advice. That's all I'm asking for, so it's just something where I'm like, yeah, I just kind of find it disappointing where it's like, it's not really that hard. I feel like lying to the individual is a lot more hurtful than, because I can say for myself where I'm like, I've been in situations where people wasn't really all that honest with me. And it's something where I'm like, I can think of some situations. I really don't want to get too deep in detail. It's stuff that I've talked on before on this podcast episode, but yeah, I can think of times where people wasn't really all that honest with me. And no, it put me in a situation where I was hurt, and I still feel like to this day, there's probably a lot of people that's not honest with me. And, it's one of those things where I'm all like, hey, look, there's nothing, I'm going to just say this, I think afterwards I'm just going to go ahead because I feel like I'm kind of getting too deep in my mind with this podcast episode. But I'm going to just let you guys know right now, there's nothing wrong with being honest with me. Whatever the situation is, whether it's content creating, whether it's my personal life, whether it's just me as a person, there should be no reason to not be honest with me. The thing is this, I'm at a point in time in my life where I've been hurt so much and I've been hurt for so long, and I done had some of the most depressing days of my life, to where there is absolutely nothing in this world that can be said to me to where it's like, oh, I'm gonna be even more hurt than where I'm already at, fam. I have to say that, like, I am pretty much buried in depression, and I might have like my little moments I get like that glimpse of sunshine, that like little breaths of air and stuff, but I feel like for the most part I am buried in depression, and I really don't know. And the thing is, like, what I think is that finding like love or being at peace, or it's like all that is gonna help, but I'm like, I still, and that's like the part that like that's really just trippy, and that's really just that's also sits in my head, is like, and it's something that I've imagined for years, bruh. I had to say ever since I started feeling what depression was, but there's like something that always sits in the back of my mind, and I'm even thinking about it now, where it's like and I feel like it's kind of changed, but at the same time, it's still the same scenario where I'm successful. I done made it, like I got this nice fancy house. And I remember like the original imagination was that I was just staring like out this like balcony, like I'm sitting on this, I'm kind of just leaning on the edge of this balcony, and I'm kind of just looking, and I don't really like see what I'm looking at, but I just know that I'm looking. But that's something that I'm like, it's weird, it's kind of like some like Inception type stuff, where I can see myself and see that I'm not well. Like, I'm not, like, I'm just like how moments where I'm like just here right now, where I could be like downstairs having dinner, and I'm just kind of sitting down there by myself, and I'm all like, man, this is lonely, and that's like the one thing that I can see for myself. Like, I feel like I look at myself in the mirror enough to know when I'm feeling a certain way. Like, I feel like you'd spend almost 28 years in your body, you start to pay attention to some stuff, So, but yeah, that was just something that I always imagined, and now it's kind of like something where I'm okay with it now. It's like I'm okay with being alone. I'm okay with just overall being like, you just down and out, and it's like something where I'm like, I don't want that life. It's like, and it's just weird, where it's like I want to be involved in other people's lives, but it's like I even just finding myself in a situation where it's like I can tell that a person wants me involved in their life, and I feel like I'm pushing them away. Like, I've done this before to this same person, and I'm like, I don't, yeah, maybe and the funny thing is, I'm sitting here doing this whole episode about being honest and not playing games with people, and I feel like I'm doing the same exact thing to this person. So it's like, it's some weird stuff that, like, I swear that is how life goes, and it's something that's just super weird. And yeah, I think probably at some point in time I gotta just tell this person, I'm like, I don't know what the situation is on why I push people away, but it's like, it's super weird, bro. Like, I don't know, it's just maybe just years of feeling like that. Because I'm like, bro, I can think back when I was a kid, and that's like, being like that new kid in school, where it's just, you try to be involved with people, but it's like they don't want nothing to do with you. And then it's like you've been sitting down thinking about it for, like, you think of that like with friends, family, freaking everybody, and you're kind of like, what's wrong with me, So yeah, it's just some weird stuff, man. Hopefully just, yeah, more people can just overall be honest. I know I need to step up with being honest, but yeah, overall it's just something where I'm like, people, look, be honest, stop playing games with people. It's okay, it's like to be honest and things, and to not play games with people. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm all like, it's just, I feel like there's more to talk on, but it's just like, there's just some stuff that's missing. But I'm going to go ahead and call it with this episode. So anyways, thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next episode, and peace.